Hey y'all, it's Cam again. So this is basically 20 plus years later. People are still blaming Israel for 9/11, which I don't even see how that's possible because Al Qaeda and then Osama bin Laden even took responsibility. I mean, he wrote a letter to America saying kind of why they did it and because their people were being killed and la 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 la. So, just in the Middle East and all that stuff. But I saw something today. It was saying that Israel did it, or that it was what do they call it? Controlled demolition. Yesterday, I think it was on one of my Instagram videos, or not a video, but like on a comment. Somebody commented below that said Israel responsible for 9/11. I was like, I don't see how this is possible. So, make a long story short, I asked Chat GPT to give me information or like why people think that. And pretty much I'm coming up with like conspiracy theory type stuff. So anyway, I'm just going through this, make up your mind, on your own. I'm just going through it. So this is just kind of an interesting topic to me because I don't know why they would think that, but especially with everything that was going on. But I mean, there's a lot to that. I mean, saying the Jewish people pretty much wanted us to go to war with their enemies, blah, 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 or at least Israel. So let's just get into this. Okay. So this is video three of this particular document from the Anti-Defamation League. But it says prominent anti-Semitic 9/11 conspiracy theorists. The following is a sampling of some of the numerous individuals who promote anti-Semitic 9/11 conspiracy theories today, including individuals who have maintained a prominent role in the 9/11 truther movement for the past 2 decades, as well as a new generation of individuals carrying on that legacy. These individuals cut across the ideological spectrum from longtime conspiracy theorists and hardcore anti Semites to white supremacists and black nationalists, united in their belief that Jews and Israel are to blame for the 9/11 terrorist attacks. Abdel Malik al Houthi, the Iranian backed Houthi rebels in Yemen, who refer to themselves as Ansar Allah, adhered to a fundamentally anti Semitic worldview which dates back to the group's foundational documents from the early 2000s. Hussein al Houthi, the group's founder, claimed in sermons in December 2011, or excuse me, 2001, that 9/11 was a Jewish conspiracy and that Osama bin Laden was probably hiding in an American hotel. Under its current leader, Hussein's brother, Abdel Malik al-Houthi, the Houthi insurgency continues to routinely propagate anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about 9/11, even teaching such hatred to children under their control. Since conquering the Yemeni capital of Sana'a in 2014, the Houthis now also control the institutions of a contender Yemeni state. As a result, anti Semitic conspiracy theories, including about 9/11, are now amplified by previously official Yemeni institutions that belong to the state and were seized by Abdel Malik al Houthi and his organization, such as the state's El Iman TV station. In 2021, the Houthi controlled El Iman TV station broadcast a show that taught school children the scam of 9/11 was a theatrical show produced by the Jews and the Americans to conquer all Islamic and Arab nations. In a 2021 speech about the importance and origins of the Houthi slogan, Death to America, Death to Israel, Curse the Jews, Abdel Malik al Houthi suggested that the U.S. and Israel made the events of September 11 as a pretext to conquer the Muslim world. In 2016 speech, about the Jewish enemy, Abdel Malik or Malik El Houthi declared, with regard to the Jewish Zionist lobby that we find in the events of September 11th, with certainty they manufactured this event and employed it to the highest level. Adam Green is anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. Green hosts an online streaming show called No More News. Green promotes various conspiracy theories on the show, often connecting them to ancient Jewish texts and a belief that Jews are attempting to control world governments and industries to ultimately destroy non-Jews. Green speculated that the January 6, 2021 insurrection at the Capitol, for example, was orchestrated by Israel and Jews in order to justify implementing tyrannical laws to undermine the United States. Green has promoted anti Semitic 9/11 conspiracy theories, including conducting 9/11 Truth Street interviews, participating in 9/11 Truther events, and hosting other anti Semitic 9/11 conspiracy theories on No More News. It wasn't until like 2008, 2009, I started to get into the 9/11 truth stuff. And ever since I learned this, my life has been changed. I don't think there's been a day that goes by that it doesn't replay in my head that Zionists can blow up buildings in front of everyone and start wars. They're getting away with everything. They take down a couple buildings to justify Israel's dominance in the world and to help fulfill their prophecies. 9/11 was huge for them. Adam Green, No More News, September 2019. Greater Israel, world domination, temple, Mashiach, all the end times prophesy. Zionists needed 9/11 for that. It took out all their threats in the Middle East. It launched a war on Islam. It destabilized all of their neighbors, all of it. Adam Green, No More News, September 2019. Andrew Anglin in the Daily Stormer. Andrew Anglin is a white supremacist and anti Semite who operates the neo Nazi website, The Daily Stormer. Anglin got his start in the alt right extremist world as a 9/11 truther and was influenced by conspiracy theorists like Alex Jones of InfoWars. He launched the Daily Stormer in 2013, which features content from Anglin and other authors that is explicitly racist, anti Semitic, misogynistic, anti LGBTQ, and peddles conspiratorial claims related to the 2020 election, the coronavirus pandemic, and other current events. In 2014, Anglin started definitively on the Daily Stormer that the Jews most definitely orchestrated the events of September 11, 2001. Anglin remains in hiding after several judges awarded punitive damages to victims of his various trolling campaigns. I've been thinking about this Iraq war thing recently. It's actually as totally as insane as the coronavirus hoax or the global weather hoax. It is totally mind blowing looking back that half of America believed that Saddam Hussein had ordered 9/11. As we know, virtually all of the neocons were Jews, not 60% or 70, but 95%. Andrew Anglin, The Daily Stormer, July 2021. Excuse me. There's simply no denying that Jewish and Israeli involvement in the 9/11 attacks. The fact that Jews were complicit in these attacks is a very legitimate reason to hate the Jews. Lee Rogers, The Daily Stormer, July 2019. Christopher Bolin, I guess, was one of the earliest promoters of anti Semitic 9/11 conspiracy theories, and he continues to be an influential voice in the 9/11 truther movement 2 decades later. He first began writing about the attacks soon after they occurred as a reporter for American Free Press, an anti Semitic conspiracy oriented newspaper. Since that time, Bolin has doubled down on his arguments and promoted the view that the 9/11 attacks were a false flag operation by Israel and Jews, which led to the war on terror. He has also described 9/11 as the monstrous Jewish Zionist crime of our time. He conducted a speaking tour across the U.S. in 2016 to promote these conspiratorial claims. Bolin continues to publish content about 9/11 on his website and other platforms. The 9/11 culprits who gave the dictats to our, or maybe dictates, I don't know, to our political leaders apparently demand two things: utter silence on 9/11 truth and complete servitude to the Zionist agenda. Evidently, these are two sides of the same coin. Don't expect the Zionist gangsters to give up and let us have our republic back anytime soon. They intend to maintain control of the White House and Congress for a long time, which is how they have enslaved us. Christopher Bowen, August 2019. Former Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is one of the key masterminds of the fraudulent war on terror, which is now the largest and most expensive war in U.S. history. He's also deeply involved in the false flag terrorism of 9/11, which is the event that made his pet project, the War on Terror, become operational. Christopher Boland, July 2019. Cynthia McKinney, a former U.S. representative from Georgia and 2008 Green Party presidential candidate Cynthia McKinney, has a long history of espousing anti-Israel and anti-Zionist rhetoric, and has also supported anti-Semitic groups, including the Nation of Islam and the New Black Panther Party. McKinney began using conspiratorial rhetoric after or about 9/11 within months of the attacks, and has continued to do so over the past 2 decades. McKinney has participated in 9/11 truther events and has repeatedly blamed Israel and Zionists for the attacks. At the 9/11 Revisited Seeking the Truth conference in Kuala Lumpur in 2012, she claimed the pro-Israel lobby targeted her because of her questioning of 9/11 at the Rethink 9/11 Coalition event at Times Square in 2013, hosted by 9/11 conspiracy theorist Richard Gage and his architects and engineers for 9/11 Truth, EA 9/11 organization. McKinney implied that Israel was behind the attacks, referencing the Israeli policy document Clean Break and the Yinon plan during her speech. McKinney posted an image on Twitter in June of 2021 depicting the 9/11 attack on the Twin Towers as a puzzle, and the message, the final piece of the puzzle, Zionists did it. Yeah. Okay, that's probably why she's no longer in Congress. But anyway, David Duke, former Klan leader and one of America's best known white supremacists and anti Semites, David Duke has spread anti Semitic, racist, and bigoted commentary and conspiracy theories for decades, including through his newsletter, website, and daily podcast. Duke has consistently accused Jews of controlling the media, U.S. politics, banking, and other entities, in addition to repeated baseless claims that Jews are responsible for such events as the coronavirus pandemic and global wars. Duke has blamed Jews in Israel for the 9/11 terrorist attacks for the past 20 years, with this commentary appearing in such publications as Press TV, Iran's English language propaganda news network. The Taliban is not our enemy. They did not do 9/11. If you want to know who did 9/11, it was the Jewish control of this country for the U.S. The Jewish supremacists are the biggest murderers in the history of the planet. Israel's fingerprints all over 9/11. The Jewish power structure globally, the Jewish spy system and Mossad has infiltrated every major terrorist group. There's huge evidence that the Israeli state knew all about it. I think they planned it. David Duke Radio Show, August 2021. David Icke is I guess that's how you say it, is a popular British conspiracy theorist and author whose books promote a wide range of conspiracy theories. These conspiracy theories include frequent anti-Semitism, such as claiming that Israel and Zionists planned the 9/11 terrorist attacks, citing the classic anti-Semitic text, The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, and stating that the Jewish Rothschild family as part of a bloodline of the reptilian humanoids that secretly control the world. I'm sorry, that's so ridiculous. Okay, Icke's work has been admired by individuals across the political spectrum, from individuals on the left to far right extremists. Icke's two most recently published books, The Trigger in 2019 and The Answer in 2020, strongly promote the belief that a cabal of ultra Zionists based in Israel, together with the religious death cult that emerged from Judaism centuries ago, perpetrated 9/11. The lie that changed the world, who really did it? David Icke. Okay, there was massive and central involvement in 9/11 by Israeli government, military, and intelligence operatives. David Icke, The Trigger, 2019. Zionist and ultra Zionist organizations form a network across America and the world to manipulate and impose the will of ultra Zionism and the Sabbatean Frankist death cult and the kosher Nostra networks of organized crime which interlock with Mossad. Add control of so much of government and media, and you have a hidden stream of interconnections perfectly capable of perpetrating and then covering up 9/11. David Icke, The Trigger, 2019. Ibrahim Raisi and Ali Khamenei, I don't know. Anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about 9/11 are a mainstay of the Iranian government's domestic and external propaganda and media channels. As the supreme leader and president of Iran, respectively, Ali Khamenei and Ibrahim Raisi bear responsibility for an extensive network of institutions that propagate anti-Semitic propaganda, both in Iran and abroad, including anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about 9/11. These slanderers emanate both from these slanders emanate from both their personal patronage networks as well as official state media. Islamophobia is the contemporary world, or in the contemporary world, under the cover of freedom of expression, is a strategist of the Zionist clubs and the leaders of domination, including through the attribution of some fabricated events such as September 11th to Muslims. Khamenei, whatever, personal website posting September of 2020. In 2018, a charity directed by Raisi produced a 50-part film series to promote the protocols of the Elders of Zion, or Zion, whatever, a notorious anti-Semitic forgery. Episode 19 of this film series asserted 9/11 was part of a devil-worshipping plot by world Jewry and that no Jews were present in the Twin Towers during the 11th of September 2001 incident. Gilad Atzmon. Gilad Atzmon is an anti-Semitic author and musician who describes himself as an ex-Israeli and ex-Jew. He is an outspoken promoter of classic anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and a fierce critic of the state of Israel. Atzmon has also made statements which trivialize or distort the Holocaust. Atzmon's work seems to appeal to many fringe audiences, including Black nationalists, white supremacists, and Holocaust deniers. In September 2014, for example, he was interviewed on a Nation of Islam program, and his works have also been cited by former KKK Grand Wizard David Duke. Though Atzmon has declined to directly endorse conspiracy theories about the technical details of 9/11, he portrays the 9/11 truth movement as working against powerful and deceitful Jewish interests which control historical narratives. In 2010, Atzmon spoke at a conference on 9/11 in London, which catered to the UK truther group London Truth Movement. The event also featured anti Semitic conspiracy theorist Kevin Barrett. At the conference, Atzman said, "If we look into the past, we may be able to amend our future. This is what we call revisionism. This means World War II and the so called Holocaust. This means 9/11. Although I frequently talk to 9/11 truth groups about various related topics such as Israel, Zionism, and Jewish ID politics, I do not contribute to the discourse involving controlled demolitions and airplanes flying into buildings. Engineering, construction, and flying are not within my field of research. However, there are a few areas of my study that I think are important in relation to the 9/11 truth movement. One, the Mossad's motto is by way of deception and false flag operations are deeply rooted in Mossad's modus operandi. Two, the primary beneficiary of 9/11 has been Israel. It was neocons who pushed for the so-called war against terror in the in the name of democracy and Coca-Cola. The English-speaking empire has been fighting Zionist conflicts for almost 2 decades. Most important, be aware that controlling the opposition is at the core of Zionist survival strategy. Gilad Atzmon, January 2018. Gordon Duff and Veterans Today. Gordon Duff is an anti Semitic conspiracy theorist who has been a significant figure in the 9/11 truther movement for the past decade. Duff runs the anti Semitic conspiracy oriented news website Veterans Today, which he uses to disseminate content and provide a platform for numerous columnists to promote anti Semitic 9/11 conspiracy theories. Duff asserts that Israel was responsible for the 9/11 attacks and further claims that U.S. security is threatened by a nefarious, disloyal group of Americans who have dual U.S. Israeli citizenship and who control government organizations and private companies. Duff's work has been widely disseminated on conspiracy oriented and right wing extremist websites. Israel began a massive destabilization effort against the U.S., funded by powerful financial interests, initially in order to access nuclear material to secure and expand its threatened nuclear arsenal. This destabilization effort included planning and execution of 9/11. Gordon Duff, Veterans Today, August 2021. The neocons and their KN, or the kosher Nostra bosses, rigged the 2000 election using power, usurping power using the mob-owned Supreme Court. Then they unleashed 9/11 using nuclear weapons deployed by Israeli and Saudi teams. Gordon Duff, Veterans Today, August 2021. The biggest story of the last 20 years is one of the brazen uses of nuclear weapons by Israel against its perceived enemies. Israel nuked the U.S. on 9/11, and Veterans Today has proven it beyond a doubt. Gordon Duff, Veterans Today, August 2021. The Goyim Defense League. The Goyim Defense League is a loose network of anti Semites and white supremacists who are motivated and united by their virtual or virulent hatred of Jews. GDL's overachieving goal or overarching goal, good grief, is to cast aspersions on Jews and spread anti Semitic myths and conspiracy theories. This includes frequent references to Jews having undue power through their control of major institutions such as media networks, the economy, or the government, or disparaging Jews as degenerates who molest children and advocate for pornography, abortion, and homosexuality. GDL's promotion of anti Semitic conspiracy theories include Holocaust denial and claims that Jews were responsible for the 9/11 terrorist attacks. GDL routinely disseminates these claims online in their propaganda and during their Name the Nose tours. During one such tour in California in August of 2020, GDL leader John Manadillo stood on the steps of a Chabad I guess Chabad, Jewish Community Center, and proclaimed that these Jewish terrorists are the people who were behind 9/11. These are the terrorists. It's not the Muslims, it's the Jews. Anti-Semitic 9/11 imagery and text painted on the van used by the GDL during their Name the Nose tour in Florida in August 2021. Never forget, the Jews did it. Propaganda distributed by GDL that Israel did 9/11. Israel did 9/11. Are Jews responsible for 9/11? The facts. I'll put this in the description. You can read through all of that because I'm not going to worry about it. Graphic shared in the GDL chat on Telegram, which features Larry Silverstein and the message Jews did 9/11. Kevin Barrett, anti-Semitic conspiracy theorist. Kevin Barrett is a frequent contributor to Iran's English language propaganda news network, Press TV, hosts an array of anti Semites and Holocaust deniers on his Truth Jihad internet radio show, and writes for Veterans Today and the UNZ Review. Barrett frequently invokes anti Semitic conspiracy theories about supposed Jewish manipulation of world events, claiming that the West does not comprehend Israel's duplicity because of the extent of clandestine Zionist power. He is a longtime 9/11 conspiracy theorist, claiming that Zionists perpetrated the attacks to seize power in the United States, provoke a war on Islam on behalf of Israel. The granddaddy of all false flags, the September 11th, 2001 coup d'etat, which was a non-conservative or neoconservative Zionist coup d'etat orchestrated to hijack American policy and use the American military to destroy the countries around Israel in that region in order to enable Israeli expansionism and create a whole new world in the Middle East. Kevin Barrett interview on Press TV, September 2019. That effort to install a permanent and ever expanding so called Jewish state in the heart of the land that's holy is not a sustainable project. And so they had to resort to the most extreme measures to try to make that happen. And the false flag event of September 11, 2001 was absolutely instrumental in pushing forward the Zionist project. Kevin Barrett interview on Press TV, May of 2019. The official narrative of hijacking has been fully disproven on hundreds and hundreds of grounds, and yet this Zionist coup d'etat on 9/11, it was a combination of Israelis and neoconservative Americans, along with hardline right-wingers in the American military and the intelligence establishment who pulled off this coup d'etat. This Reichstag fire in America. Kevin Barrett interview on Press TV, August of 2017. I'm going to stop it here and then maybe finish up with one more video on this one. But anyway, you get the point. I'm not necessarily, jumping on the bandwagon either way, but I mean, I'm not taking a side as far as anything with Israel because I'm an American. I don't really care too much about foreign policy and all that stuff. We've got problems here we need to get fixed. So that's my stance on some of this other stuff that's been going on with like Israel, Iran, and everybody else in the world that's gone crazy. But anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Have a good afternoon. Bye.